Welcome to this ICFslsalom podcast episode, part of the series running until the Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Games. We bring you the inside stories from around the globe from the people who make canoe slalom so special. Here's your host, John Gregory.
A warm welcome to our 2025 episodes. Thanks for joining me for episode number 99. Today we hear from three winners from the two races in the United States, in Montgomery, Alabama, and a week later in Oklahoma City. My guests today are Andraz Echeverria from Chile, Pepe Goncalves from Brazil, and Casey Eichfeld from the USA. Let's start with my extended conversation with Chile's Andraz Echeverria. Pleased to welcome him to the podcast for the first time. Andraz, first, congratulations on winning the men's kayak cross in Oklahoma City. It must feel good, no doubt, to stand on the top of the podium.
Yes, I think was a long time that I don't win a race since 2023. So it was very good to me to be, I have been second and third, but it's not the same that when you realize the first place. So I was very happy. Also, my family was very happy. So yeah, that's made me to keep going more.
Even more motivated. Okay, so talk us through the progression from your perspective in that race. So kayak cross. So from what I've got, you were fourth in the time trial, first in the heat, first in the quarterfinal, second in the semi-final, and then obviously first in the final. But how did that feel from your view from the water?
Well, I did the time trial and I lost a little bit of time in one place, and I was a little bit sad because without that also I could have a medal. And then I think in my mind, okay, I want to win. Like I never feel like that way, like with such trust. Like okay, I want to win this race. And there were a lot of strong paddlers from other countries, like Pepe from Brazil. There were this guy from Slovenia, and the guys from USA are so very strong. But I was really like with a lot of focus. And when I just start the race, I saw where is the best place to jump. I had a good place, in the time trial, so I could choose. So I choose the best place to start, and I did first in the quarters, and the hits, then second, and I was like, I don't know, very motivated, when you have this progression to arrive first on the finish line. It's like, okay, I'm doing good. Let's keep like this. Because when you pass, because someone is not making a gate or something like this, it's just luckily, But when you are like in the first crossing the finish line, you are getting this trust. And then in the finish, in the final run, the medal one, I get the worst start. And I think like, okay, I need to change my plan because I will not be first for sure. So I make my decisions in the moment, which helped me a lot to be first and in the first upstream. And then I continue and I defend my position in the other upstream because the Australian paddler, Maryland, tried to push me away, but I keep a lot like in the gate. So I could keep the position and then sprint to the finish line. Was very fun and very good, like to keep these positions in the heats quarter, and then in the final was crazy.
Okay, well, it's amazing to see you take a win. It's lovely to see Chile on the top of the podium. It was also sort of back-to-back races. You'd been racing in Montgomery just a week before. I think that started off very well in kayak cross.
Yeah, I had a lot of problem with my kayak in Montgomery. Like I trained really good, but in the race, we have like a training moment in the morning, like 10 to 11, I think. And the race were at 1. And I broke the seat of my boat. It's a carbon seat in the training. And I was very like sad. I tried to fix it, but I broke it in, where the holes are to keep in carbon seats. So I tried to fix it with fast epoxy and stuff. And I couldn't, like when I jumped in the time trial, it broke again. And I flipped in the time trials, and then in the batteries, in the hits, I also was with not like balance. I think I don't like to like apologize for that stuff, but it's really bad to don't be good in the seat, because the seat is the thing that secures you to the gravity in the boat, you know. So I didn't feel good in Montgomery. Then I fixed better the seat with carbon, you know. I had more time to Oklahoma, and I feel better, like 100% to paddle in that moment.
Oh, the seat is absolutely critical to the boat. Sorry, just a clarification. So you have a carbon seat in your boat for kayak cross?
Yes, I have a carbon seat. I think it's very for me it feels very different than the plastic seat, because I have the Piranha, the Evo 2, and when I had the plastic seat, I feel a lot of time like the boat is going down, like I almost flip, you know, backflip sometimes. But with the carbon seat, I feel it more like
It's
eh,
stiffer.
it's yeah, better like in the gravity in the center of the boat, you know. And if you see like the top guys paddling, everyone have a carbon seat. Like I
Uh,
think is you don't see too many people having great results with the plastic seat. I mean, for sure there are, and I admire them, but I think it's important.
okay,
Yeah.
well, I haven't paddled kayak cross, and I think that what we see is we see the boats line up on the start ramp, and we see people put the deck on. But I'm sure there's lots of people across the sport that just think that these are off the shelf plastic kind of kayaks, but actually they've
Oh
been
yeah.
customized quite a bit for kayak cross.
Yeah, I think was a very questionable thing in the beginning, because many people were with the plastic and some people with the carbon seat, and they just buy a random carbon seat and put it like very, you know, handmade. Mine is handmade. It's not made it by, you know, a professional factory. So it's a handmade seat with the
Customized.
function. Yeah, customized, and it's very cool. So, but just it broke, so you know, because we had like 2 years. I think it's important for top races use the carbon seat.
So, Andraz, I mean, you're not widely known in the sport, but tell us about how you got here and how you got into slalom.
Well, everything started with my grandfather. He in the beginning, I think the Americans in the 80s, 90s start to develop the sport. So they in winter they travel to South America, some countries, and also Central America to develop this sport. So they went to Chile in that time, and they meet my grandfather in the 80s, a long time ago, and they shared these boats with him, because he was a raft guy in that moment, and he started learning in the 80s and start to doing the first races and stuff, start to coaching other people, and then generation by generation until I I born and he teach me. But it was very different the sport when I start, like imagine in the 2010, something like this, 2008, than when he learned it in the 80s, because technique and stuff was different. Boats were different. I started in a boat, old boat, 4 meters long in slalom. And then I get invited in the TAP program, which is a talent identification program by the ICF.
Yep.
And then I got this chance to learn more about slalom and cross when it's introduced by really good coaches. So I got this chance, and I was not so good in the beginning, but they see me every year, the good progression, and they invite me a lot of more time until I get a really decent level. And then when I get this level, I went to Brazil to live, because for us in South America, Brazil is the stronger country, you know, in South America. They have this Rio de Janeiro, the Olympic course. So I moved to Brazil to train also with them and get a really good level. I went I win the Pan Am in 2023. And that's such a huge thing because I think no one in Chile did it before, to be champion in the country, in the continent. I still learning, I still training a lot to could do better results in World Cups or World Championships because, the level in Europe is very hard. And for us to beat them is more harder. So need to train more. But that was the beginning of everything. I think my grandfather and TAP.
Okay, well, your grandfather must be incredibly proud of you.
Yes, he's always happy. Like, I mean, when I win this race, he was more happy than anyone. And that's cool because we share this, as family stuff. So the slalom life, the race life is really good.
Yeah, and I mean, we've spoken to Jean-Michel Pruneau and Richard Fox about the TAP program, so it's very interesting to make that connection. Thank you. I mean, you've alluded to races in Europe. Yeah, I mean, you've also had through that opportunity to start, 2023 Lee Valley World Championships and others, and 2024 World Cup races. Yeah, I mean, it's good to see you getting opportunities to race at some of these other venues, and as you say, with European and other international paddlers. I'm sure you're learning from them as well.
Every year I did better things, like first time I went to TAP in the World Cup. So imagine I didn't have the good level to do it, but I learned a lot, like how I need to do it to make it to semis and stuff. So I prepare a lot in Brazil stuff. And I did really good races, but always a little bit mistake. I'm telling you about slalom because slalom is, I think, more competitive than cross. You need to be very perfect. So I always were like, I don't know, half a second or 1 second out in the semifinals and was very sad. But I think this year I will get better results. And in Lee Valley, I think I had a really good race. But I finished like 36 and it was like, I don't know, 120 starts. And I didn't make it to semis, but I was very close. And then in the second round, I touched 2 gates and I didn't make it because of that. But I know the paddling and the level is there. I just need to find, like, I don't know, the mindset and the good feeling like the other paddlers, because you are racing with the top paddlers in the world. Like, I mean, these guys are really strong. They don't miss. So yeah, always looking forward to progress, and I'm not anxious. I think maybe this year or maybe the next, I will be better and better to reach the best results in the most important races, right? But I think cross also is getting better and better, and I think, yeah, I did. I think once I did semifinals in pole in kayak cross, so I think I can get good results also. I think 33 of the ranking, but this year I'm looking forward to improve it and make finals or something like this. Will be like a dream.
Okay, well, you look forward to seeing you. Good luck for this year. I think there's another race coming up later in April in Brazil.
Yeah, we will have the South American Championships, which is also important, and it will be in the house of Pepe. So it will be very fun to see this race because it's an important place for them. There's actually many people who went from the Olympics from there in Piraju in Brazil. So it's a really fun place. It's different river, it's natural, but it still is very fun. I want to say thanks to all the people who has been part in my project. There is a lot of coaches. I learned a lot from a lot of people, and has been amazing to have this chance, this opportunity, because I think not all the people can have it. So I really want to say thanks to all the paddlers, to all the coaches that has been important to me, and they always have this time to share, the opinions and maybe feedbacks, and that's really cool. So thanks to all of them. Like now I have my family, I have my child, and I enjoy sport. And I think without them, this will not be possible.
That was Andraz Echeverria, winner of the Oklahoma City ICF ranking race in men's kayak cross. He talked to us from home in Três Coroas in Brazil. Next, I welcome Pedro Goncalves to the podcast. I first met Pepe at the Prague Worlds in October 2013 when I wrote the article An Evening with the Brazilian Canoe Slalom team. After sixth at the Rio Olympics, he has become one of the top athletes in kayak cross and outside slalom as one of the world's top extreme whitewater paddlers.
I really enjoy to paddling in new courses in US. It's pretty amazing when you meet the whitewater course for first time. I really enjoy Montgomery because it's more like natural moves, natural tricks. So I really enjoy that. It's more my style. But I become really excited to know Oklahoma because it's the next Olympic course. And when I come, I just had not the best impression, but when I started to training, I did like 2 sessions. I start to really enjoy the moves and the course. The water is pretty fast, and I think is a lot of potential there. So I really think they will work on that course, on the blocks, on the moves to be the best course in the world. And yeah, the course have a lot of potential to be one of the best course. It's a lot of water, a lot of like desnivel, so for sure will be amazing to race there, the World Championships and the Olympic Games with some modification on the blocks. Yeah, for sure. I start on the beginning of the kayak cross events. I remember in 2016 after Rio, it was my first real World Cup on the kayak cross in Prague actually, and I really love it. It's more like you can do trainings on the river, and also is a great opportunity for the Brazilians, because it's an opportunity to start in the same level of the Europeans. In slalom, we are too far. We are too late. The gears, every gears we buy in Europe, we need to fly with the boats to buy the gears, to try the new boats, to improve the technique, to race on the artificial course. For sure, slalom are made for Europeans, and this is hard for us. But otherwise, kayak cross, we start at the same level. At the same time, we have the same opportunities. You don't need travel a lot to improve your technique, your physical on kayak cross. So I take this like my life opportunity, to start one Olympic discipline at the same time as Europeans. So yeah, I take serious this like really, really early, and I really enjoy that. And sometimes I don't know if I like or I need to like because I doing good, because when you are on the start line and more 3 men's size you, so you need to fight it then is really hard. And now with the time trials becomes a medal, this is really cool because yeah, I can be fast, I can do my best, and I really looking forward on the next race. So yeah, I enjoy it. When I started to train in serious kayak cross, I just think, now I can training on the natural rivers. I can do some ramp on the rocks. I can travel the best rivers in the world, like to training, So this is really cool, and I really try to enjoy that. So I think this is my magic formula. I can do my work but I can do that to be happy on the natural. This is where the kayak cross comes from the rivers. So I want to come back to the rivers to have something more, to learn something with the natural rivers. And yeah, last year I did Chile, and was a really amazing experience. I had the experience to paddle with Daniel, with Killian, with Dan Jackson, with the best paddlings in the world on the extreme. I learned a lot. I learned a lot with the rivers, with the waterfalls, with the passion, with the calm, with the storms, and I think this makes me strong on the races for sure. And also I did some traveling in Brazil, in center of Brazil, Mato Grosso and Mato Grosso do Sul, and really really amazing. It's hard to decide about my favorite, but I enjoy to traveling with my kayak and go where no one can go. Just me and my kayak, and I think this is why one Brazilian guy can be on the top of the world in canoe, in slalom and kayak cross, because this is where I have been born and where I get some power to do the race.
That was three-time Olympian Pepe Goncalves. He was the winner of the ICF ranking race men's kayak and kayak cross in Montgomery, Alabama. He talked to us from home in Piragua, Brazil. Finally today, always good to hear again from four-time Olympian Casey Eichfeld.
Well, we finally finished a few long weeks of racing in Montgomery, Alabama and Oklahoma City. A lot of good racing, a lot of tight racing. We just finished our national team trials for the senior athletes and the junior athletes, but we also held the Pan Am Championships and 2 ICF ranking races. So super busy, very hectic for the organizers, but they did a great job pulling it together. I can't imagine the workload that they had as they held at least 2, if not 3 or even 4 events at the same time, having to pump out information and results for all of those events. So we had very minimal delays, and they really put on a spectacular couple of events. I think everybody was super happy with the racing there and the 2 venues that we had to offer. And so it was a lot of fun to get to race with everybody, and I think we're all really excited for the future of racing in the United States. The United States national team is now selected after 2 pretty crazy weekends of racing. We had a lot of our neighbors from the north and the south, so it was super exciting to have so many competitors at our races. The national team has now been selected, and it was a lot of really tight racing. I think that boats 1 through 3 had just a couple percentage points between each of them. Evy Leibfarth really throwing down a lot of fire racing, and I think that she probably set the 0 percentage for every run. So just really on top of her game right now, kicking some butt and driving us and pushing us to be faster. So super exciting. Really glad to be on the national team again this year and ready to go to the World Cups and World Championships.
That was Casey Eichfeld, member of the USA team for the 18th season. He won the C1 ICF ranking race in Montgomery, Alabama. He talked to us from the US National Whitewater Center outside Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Thanks to my guests Andraz Echeverria, Pepe Goncalves and Casey Eichfeld. Wonderful to learn more about the development of canoe slalom and kayak cross in Chile. So in the last couple of weeks, we have seen major announcements about the venues for the LA2028 Games in Oklahoma City and the new course in Brisbane for the 2032 Olympics in Australia. As mentioned in passing at the beginning, our next episode will be the 100th episode of this ICFslalom podcast. Hope you have enjoyed listening. Some of you might recall that the first pilot episode at the Laseo World Championships in 2019 was focusing on the driven US sensation Evy Leibfarth. So for this next 100th special episode, there seemed no better story than to come back to Evy to see her journey over the last 5 to 6 years. I'm John Gregory. Thanks for listening. If you enjoy the podcast, tell other people, send them a link, like, follow, or write a review. If you need more, read Vittoria Valdi's insightful and eloquent blog. Stay safe.
That's it for now, but please subscribe to the podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, and leave a review too. Until the next episode, keep it fast and clean.